Hi, in this video we will read about myasthenia gravis, which is a kind of neuromuscular junction disorder. So disorders affecting the neuromuscular junction can be acquired or inherited, which are given in this table we will read about. They are usually pure motor syndromes affecting the proximal, bulbar or the extraocular muscles. Starting with the first one, the myasthenia gravis. About 20% patients with the myasthenia gravis have an onset in the childhood or adolescence. Fine, onset is in the childhood or adolescence. Fatigable weakness is the hallmark. What is the hallmark? Fatigable weakness is the hallmark. Most patients have ptosis or ophthalmoplegia. Fine, this will be seen. Ptosis or ophthalmoplegia, ocular form, which may be asymmetric also and variable over time. Pupillary reactions are normal. Children may develop diplopia on sustained gaze. Fine, they may even have diplopia on sustained gaze or continuous activity like reading. On attempting to tightly close the eyes, after few minutes, the cornea may get exposed due to inability to sustain the contraction of orbicularis oculi called as the PEEP sign. So there will be PEEP sign may be positive. Fine. About half of the children with the ocular finding may develop bulbar or limb girdle weakness within 2 years. This is the generalized form. Fine. So what is written here? That half of the children with ocular finding may develop, okay, bulbar or the limb girdle weakness. Within how much time? Within 2 years. Limb weakness is usually symmetric and proximal. Fine. Limb weakness is how? It is usually symmetric and proximal. These deep tendon reflexes are either normal or reduced in proportion to the degree of the muscle weakness. Fine, they may be reduced or they may be normal. Respiratory muscles may also get involved and may lead to myasthenia crisis. Fine, what is the myasthenia crisis? When the respiratory muscles get involved. Okay. Myasthenia gravis may be associated with the thyroid disorder, systemic lupus erythematosus, diabetes mellitus, and rheumatoid arthritis because it is an autoimmune disease. So other autoimmune conditions may be associated with it. Thyomomas are found chiefly in adolescent onset myasthenia gravis and are rare in less than 5% in early childhood. So thyomomas are found in whom? Adolescent onset myasthenia gravis. Now coming to this transitory neonatal myasthenia occurs in about 15% of the babies born to myasthenic mothers. Maternal antibodies cross the placenta to reach the fetus and cause what? A transient symptoms. These symptoms will be present for a short period of time. Symptom starts within few hours after the birth but may be delayed till the third day. Fine. If the mother is myasthenia, then only symptoms will occur in this child, and they may occur after birth or till the third day. These include difficulty in feeding, weak cry, hypotonia, lack of facial expression, and respiratory insufficiency may also be present. Supportive care suffice in most cases. Oral or intramuscular pyridostigmine, usually for 4 to 6 weeks, may be warranted in the severe cases. Fine. Oral or IM pyridostigmine. Now coming to this edrophonium testing, this is usually the first test performed in the suspected case of myasthenia gravis. Fine, this edrophonium testing is the first test which is performed in the suspected case of myasthenia gravis. The dose used is the zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.2 mg per kg and may be repeated every minute. Total dose of 5 mg, weight less than 34 kg, or 10 mg in weight more than 34 kg can be used. Effects are seen within 10 seconds and persist till 120 seconds. Fine. So this is a test to confirm a suspected case of myasthenia gravis as the person is having myasthenia gravis or not. So we give edrophonium in the dose we just read, that is zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.2 mg per kg, and can be repeated every 5 minutes to a total dose of 5 mg. Fine. In 5 mg total dose and less than 34 kg, or 10 mg of total dose can be repeated in weight more than 34 kg. So effects, no, they are seen within 10 seconds and they persist till 120 seconds. That is around 2 minutes, only 2 minutes. A positive test. So when will the test be positive? Positive results consist of transient resolution of the clinical signs. So there will be a very transient resolution of this clinical sign of ptosis, ophthalmoplegia, dysarthria under observation. And edroponium is not recommended for use in infants due to high risk of arrhythmias and short duration of action, which precludes the objective assessment, right? So edroponium is what? Is not recommended in use for infants due to high risk of what? Arrhythmias and short duration of action, which precludes the objective assessment. Okay, moving ahead to neostigmine. Neostigmine may also be used as a diagnostic test. The dose used is 0.125 mg per kg in an infant and 0.04 mg per kg IM in an older children. It is slower in action with anticipated response in 10 to 15 minutes and a maximum in 30 minutes. If result is equivocal or negative, the dose may be repeated in 4 hours. Fine. Now coming to this repetitive nerve stimulation studies are abnormal in 50 to 70% of the cases with generalized myasthenia gravis. A decrement of more than 10% is characteristic. Electromyography may be normal or may show unstable or myopathic muscle unit action potentials. Fine. Single fiber electromyography is more sensitive. EMG of single fiber is more sensitive and may show increased jitter or blocking. But what will be abnormal in these children? Repetitive nerve stimulation studies are abnormal in 50 to 70% cases with this generalized myasthenia gravis. Okay. Now moving ahead to acetylcholine receptor antibodies. They may be positive in children with the myasthenia gravis, but it's a maybe, right? They may be positive in children with the myasthenia gravis. This acetylcholine receptor antibody. The rates are lower in the peri and the prepubertal children, around 50 to 60%. Antibodies to the muscle-specific kinase are seen in 40% of the seronegative patients. Fine, this anti-MuSK antibodies, muscle-specific kinase, they are the anti-MuSK antibodies are seen in 40% of the seronegative patients. Okay. X-ray chest or the CT of an anterior mediastinum may show thymoma or the thymic hyperplasia. Fine. So what can be seen in the X-ray chest or the CT? Thymoma or thymic hyperplasia. Now coming to the congenital myasthenia syndromes. Now coming to this congenital myasthenia syndromes. Congenital myasthenia syndromes are exceptionally rare. They may be present at the birth or during the infancy in almost all the cases. Onset of symptoms is within the first 2 years of the life. They should be suspected in the seronegative myasthenia gravis floppy infant with underdeveloped muscles and in adults with a childhood history of difficulties affecting the cranial, respiratory, truncal or the limb muscles. Common features include the hypotonia, limb weakness, feeding and the respiratory difficulties, arthrogryposis, ptosis, ophthalmoparesis, dysphagia and dysarthria. So these are the common features of this congenital myasthenia syndromes. Unlike myasthenia gravis, these do not respond to steroids and other immunosuppressants. Certain syndromes like the N-plate acetylcholinesterase deficiency and a slow channel congenital myasthenia may worsen with pyridostigmine. So this is a case of juvenile myasthenia gravis. A 9-year-old boy presented with the drooping of the eyelids more in the evening than the morning and restricted eye movement is present. On examination revealed a asymmetric ptosis, external ophthalmoplegia. Fine, see there's asymmetric ptosis, this can be seen in this eye. And there's external ophthalmoplegia, normal pupils, normal motor examination, note the improved ptosis before and after the administration of the neostigmine. Right, ptosis has improved a lot in this eye. Moving ahead in the treatment part, cholinesterase inhibitors are the initial treatment for myasthenia gravis. Fine, what is given? This cholinesterase inhibitors. Pyridostigmine is commonly used at a dose of what? 1 to 7 mg per kg per day in 4 divided doses. Prednisolone at low doses is used. Low doses of what? 0.5 mg per kg per day may be used in a non-acute setting. Azathioprine, cyclosporin, cyclophosphamide, and the mycophenolate mofetil are used as steroid-sparing drugs or for refractory cases. Drugs that interfere with the neuromuscular transmission should be used with caution. Thymectomy is beneficial in seropositive patients. Fine, thymectomy is useful in whom? In seropositive patients. Myasthenia crisis necessitates a cardiorespiratory monitoring. So, in patients in whom the respiratory muscles are involved, we have to do this cardiorespiratory monitoring and support. It should be differentiated from the cholinergic crisis due to the overdosage of the acetylcholinesterase inhibitors. Fine. We should be able to differentiate it from what? Overuse of acetylcholinesterase inhibitors, that is cholinergic crisis. Antecedent events, predominance of the cholinergic symptoms, ICE-PEC test, and the edrophonium challenge test help differentiate the two entities. IVIG or the plasmapheresis may be required in patients with the myasthenia crisis. Fine. So this was all about myasthenia gravis. Let's start. Let's read that table which was left. The neuromuscular junction disorders in children. So there are certain immune-mediated conditions. That one we read, myasthenia gravis, and there is something called Lambert-Eaton myasthenic syndrome. There are some congenital myasthenic syndromes like the choline choline acetyltransferase, paucity of the synaptic vesicles, end-plate acetylcholinesterase deficiency, acetylcholine receptor defects, mutations in the rapsin, like C1 and the DOP7 gene. Fine, and there can be this neuromuscular junction disorder also due to some metabolic toxins like this botulism, organophosphates, snake envenomation, tick paralysis, and hypermagnesemia. Drugs like the aminoglycosides, erythromycin, tetracycline, fluoroquinolones, neuromuscular blocking agents, phenytoin, D-penicillamine, lithium, and alpha interferon. So these drugs even can cause neuromuscular junction disorder. Thank you.